Hey, yo, we live.
We in the building.
We here.
We in the building.
Again.
Once again. One
How's
day
it-
we'll get it more consistent.
Yes.
As far as whether or not it's going to be Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
But that's going to depend on how we feel. We're crazy.
Yeah.
We got shit to do. Just like y'all do too. So we're going to wait for a couple people to come in here before we start. And rock out with that.
How's everybody doing?
The bars you cap.
Okay.
Fair.
Got the Bar Z cap. Oh, just in case, Bar Z Racing, good friends of ours,
Auto body.
Auto Body Shop. They did great work on my Grand Cherokee. I accidentally.
Shout out to Bobby.
Hey Bobby.
Michelle.
Hey Michelle. They I
Sponsored
actually
us with these t-shirts
Yep.
and the cap.
Bar Z. So anybody in the Syracuse area, if you need great work done on your vehicle,
Auto body.
auto body work. Check out Bar Z. They're great.
All right, y'all. So, by the title, you can tell. Today we're going to be talking about blending our family, or blending families. We had a few requests to speak about joining families, getting married, basically. Him having children, me having children, and us coming together and what life is like with the families blended, not only children-wise, but also in-laws.
In-laws, our siblings,
Yeah.
our parents, and things of that nature, and how to coexist in a harmonious setting, even though things can get kind of crazy.
Trying to keep it as harmonious as possible.
As possible. Cool thing about me and my blended family in regards to Jai's dad and moms, and we get along great. I love them. You know, speak to my pops all the time. Super cool, down to earth. So that was a great transition. It was for me. Prior relationships, I never really had a good relationship. Not really serious enough to have a relationship with the person's family like that. But my experience is great in regards to that. Couldn't ask for anything better than what I have with Jai's dad and mom. You know.
And I don't have really any issues. I pretty much stay to myself anyway, but I enjoy John's mom. And we talk, not very often, but I think that's more so on my part, because I don't really reach out to anyone just because I got so much going on here. So, I don't have any issues as far as her mom's concerned, and he has like an abundance of siblings that I didn't necessarily have growing up. I had two brothers, and it was just, the two boys and me. Me and my youngest were closest, and the oldest one, we were pretty much tight, but as best as we can. The oldest one was about John's age. So there was a difference, an age difference. So, now that we're all adults, we get along pretty well. We've always gotten along though, so it really isn't much of a difference. It's a little different with witnessing I don't know if I want to say chaos. Yes. The chaos as far as his family is concerned, just witnessing it, because there was really no chaos between us. Not that I know, but just witnessing the girls and the guys all, just how they, I guess, function, whether it's bickering or whether it's just calling each other, and them all like talking and them going on trips together. Like, it was something that I've not been used to, just because I didn't experience that. I have a half sister that I didn't really grow up with, so we don't have like that tight-knit relationship as all his sisters have. So that was pretty cool to witness and to see. But just like I said, I'm kind of a loner, so I pretty much back myself out of everything. So there really isn't any problems as far as that part of blending our family.
Blending our family.
Plus, we live so far from everyone, so it's kind of like, no one comes here and we really don't go anywhere. So down to the nitty gritty of the thing was blending the household when there is a child already existing and involved. So some of the things that we had friends that wanted us to touch on was as far as disciplining is concerned, as far as how the household is going to be run, who's going to be in charge of what when it comes down to the children are involved. So I guess we can touch on that somewhat.
In our home, when me and Jai got together, Soraya was 4 from a previous relationship. She's 4. Soraya will be 12 in October. So she was fairly young. You know, it's not like I came into a situation with a teenager or anything of that nature. So I was able to actually grow from the point of 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7, 8, 9, 10, and all the way up to where basically I know her. You know, I know the capabilities that she has. I know what she would do, what she wouldn't do. But when we decided to live together, and of course Soraya, you know, she does have a father that she does get to see. And she has a grandmother on her father's side, and you know she has aunts and things of that nature that she continually get to see. You know, sometimes I drive her over there, and you know what have you. She still has a relationship with them. The good.
I don't know why I forgot about that, but that was another part
That's
of
another
the
part
adult
of
blending
of the family.
Yeah, because Soraya's grandmother is like a mom to me. So it was cool that we were able to I'm still able to confide in her. I still speak to her on a regular basis as if I am, you know, her daughter. That none of that has actually changed. So it was cool that she was accepting of John into our family, so to where she looks at John as if he was a son too, and she calls and checks up on us on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. So that was another part of the blending. So it was the extension of an extended family, so to speak. And then the same thing with her aunts. We call and talk to each other, and just recently Soraya was just in big trouble as far as school is concerned. And not only did her grandmother reach out, you know, her father reaches out. And then also her aunt reaches out and was like, listen, I heard that she's acting up. I'm going to come down there and I'm going to take her for the summer. And, you know, she's going to be under some rules. So that's another part of, I guess, blending of families when you get married that some people don't think about. Before you start marrying people, get to know their family, get to know the backgrounds, understand where they're coming from, understand whether it be religion, whatever it is that makes you tick, I would say, to get to know all that information, get the extensions. If you have someone that has kids, know the other side of that child, because that child came with 2 parents, not just the one that you're with, but also the one before that. Understand that relationship, and then talk about where you guys fit in together. So
yeah, because everyone, I mean, most blended families, we only basically focus on those inside the house. Usually it's just the 2 individuals that's in a relationship and the children who could be, you know, from a prior relationship. But on a deeper scope of it, that if you're in one of them situations where the father or the mother's other relatives are involved, then they are part of a lot of those decision makings too. I'm a firm believer in meeting someone who's involved in my child's life. I'm a firm believer in that. Not because I may care about what the woman is doing or anything of that nature, but if you are in a serious relationship with the mother of my child, and you're going to be around my child, wouldn't it make sense to meet that individual? That's what adults and maturity comes into play. In this day and age, a lot of people, relationships end on bad notes, so it's to the point whereas they don't want to have nothing to do with anybody coming into that situation, which I experienced in the beginning. Soraya's father didn't want to meet me in the beginning. I wanted to, because I'm gonna be around your daughter, And
We had a lot of bad blood.
it was a lot of bad blood. Like I just said, a lot of
Right.
times bad blood comes into play. But as time went on, it was, I guess we came to a mutual understanding. Not really. We still haven't really spoken on a one-on-one. Like I said, I speak to Soraya's grandmother. Before her grandfather passed away, I spoke to him. I speak to the aunts. But just the fact that you need to have those doors open, it will help the transition, make everything a little more smooth. It's never going to be smooth because we're dealing with, people's emotions and feelings, and a lot of times it doesn't get put on what's best for the child. It gets put on what's best for the individual adult that's involved in the situation.
And that's where a lot of our issues.
And that's where
came
our
with what
wishes
your
come
kid's
from.
side.
And on my children's side, like I have a 23-year-old son, and I have also a younger daughter. Me and the mother don't get along at all. Jai has tried to
I stayed out of it in the
intervene
beginning because I get real ignorant, and I go on the side that's right. So
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling the interaction between the two of them because I just felt like it was very detrimental to the health of the child and also the health of the both of them. And I didn't agree with some of the stuff that John was saying. I damn sure the more time went by, I didn't agree with the stuff that she was saying, but I kind of stayed out of it just so there would be no bad blood that maybe I was intermixing with. And just because this girl was just off the hook, I didn't want to have to show the real side of me. That was mainly why I had to stay back. So that in itself, I don't know, is that like a whole nother type of topic?
It could be bad blood.
We wasn't really blending.
We're not blend. We wasn't allowed to blend.
We still don't blend.
No.
We still. Like his daughter is not able to be a part of our life, period. And that was, there were so many different excuses as far as that was concerned, but it all boiled down to the fact that he was just with me, I guess, or someone else. I don't know what the issue is, so I can't really speak on somebody else that's not able to sit inside of town. So
that's another note. On the note that we're speaking about now is
back to the issue.
I think the hardest part dealing with blended families is discipline.
Yeah.
When it comes to children, the two parents may have two different views of discipline, and the fact that biologically this isn't your child.
Right.
Yet you're all living in the same house. See, it's easy to do all the good things. Birthday gifts, taking them out, buying them clothes, giving them money when they need it, just having fun totally. But then the other side of that is the discipline. How do you go about disciplining? And I don't mean, putting your hands on someone else's child. I mean, just enforcing certain rules and regulations when that child gets out of place, get out of hand. Of course, the type of woman that Jai is, she disciplines hard body.
I'm a tyrant.
There is, for lack of a better word, she's a tyrant. There is no, you're allowed to disrespect, you're allowed to just do anything. Nah, she's a disciplinary. Me, growing up in a home where my mother was off the hook disciplinary with, 8 children, and she was hands-on physical, I shied away from that in the beginning with me, Jai, and Soraya. So I was more of chill because I'm dealing with my own personal issues growing up, seeing that type of discipline from a woman. My father he disciplined physically, but he was a lot more different than my mother was, to where I can accept that more. So in the beginning, I was the one I would call myself the savior. I would always intervene and be like, no, Jai, don't do that. Don't do that. Because of my own misgivings. As time went on, as Soraya got older, 4, 5, 6, there was times when she kept doing these things. Now I have to intervene to the point of I may have to yell at you. I may have to talk harsh at you. I don't believe in putting my hands on female children. That's just me. I don't believe in that.
You don't even do that with booty.
I can't, the one time or 2 times I did spank Janai, the child with me and Jai had. It crushes my heart, so I'm not good with that. Yeah, I can yell. I can, mete out punishments.
He's soft when it comes to her. He tries.
Yeah, I mean, I try, but I know as my little baby daughter,
She give
I
me puppy
spoil
dog
her. She give
eyes,
me-
and she start crying. All you gotta do is
Yeah.
say 2 words to her, and she start crying.
and she
anyway.
starts crying. So I'm a lot more lenient. But as a man dealing with a blended family, one of the things that I found is more important is for the two parents to be on the same path
Yeah.
when it comes to these children. For the simple fact is that children will cause dissension amongst a household.
They try to take you out.
Not mentally of what they're trying to do, but the child is always going to try to be cooler with the more lenient person. So if both of you are in the home raising this child or multiple children, communication is key in order to have a united front.
Yeah.
Almost to the point like we go in war against the children, for lack of a better word, because they will play that. They will try to say, well, my mommy said I can do this. And every now and then today, Soraya does still try that. I can say something, she'll go behind me and text her mother, still not realizing that me and Jai is on a united front when it comes to disciplinary on what's right, So I think that's the most important key in a blended family. I'm not saying that this is a guaranteed work, but if you don't have communication with anything, how can it work? It can't do that. For instance, let's just say she's acting up in school. I could be the one to get the call. I can, get to the school or bring her home and discipline her. Like I said, I'm not with putting my hands on female children. That's just not me. Jai has no problem putting her hands on females, males, or anything. But with me, I'm not going to do that. The discipline that I mete out, whether it's a punishment or something getting taken away, usually is going to be discussed. It has to be discussed between you and the other parent before you can just sometimes jump off the rip and do it. I'm not talking about, they do something right there and then and you say, go to your room right now.
Thanks, Claire.
You understand what I'm saying? Go to your room. There's no way that, they're going
what you
to...
do.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say go to your room.
Go to your room till your mom get home.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? Because I might be so mad to the point that, my voice is going to really, really go through the roof. Because whatever you just did to cause me to go... To have to even tell you to go to your room, I right now I don't even want to see you.
And it's usually a conversation that he's an avid texter. So the moment something happens, he'll be contacting me, and then within that text, we're communicating on what we've already talked about. Because 9 times out of 10, if he'll catch one of the kids doing something, he contacts me or we text or whatever, and I'm like, I just finished telling them not to do that or to do this. So but basically they just, the second I turn my back or the second I go into work or whatever, you just said, fuck me, fuck what she's got to say. I'm just gonna go do whatever I want. And I feel like Soraya in particular just feels like no one communicates, because there's no difference in the way that she treats the teachers. So a lot of the disciplinary action, if it is, of course, if it happens to be physical, it always comes off the rip from me, just because I don't know, I feel like they're trying to test me. And of course, because I'm very dominant as far as the kids are concerned, I feel like because they are girls, they need to be disciplined by the mother. I feel like because they're little girls, then it is not the job of the father in order to discipline them. But the reason I feel like that as far as our particular circumstances are concerned is because both of those children are birthed by me. Now, had John's daughter been living with us, the way that I would discipline my kids, or the way that I would handle my kids if they got to the point where they would need a spanking, that would not be something that I would feel comfortable ever doing with a child that did not come through me. And for me, I feel like it wouldn't matter how long we had been together, because it's not my child. Me personally would not dare. And then I would not feel comfortable with anyone else that did not birth my kid touching my kids. Like I don't even feel comfortable with Soraya's father disciplining her, just because I feel like that you're a male and you're stronger than you know. And these little girls are not so much weak, but they're more tender. And I want to make sure that in the eyes of a man as they grow up, I don't want them to ever feel like it is okay for a man to hit on you, ever. So for me personally, when it comes to girls, I don't feel like the father should be disciplining them to where it be hit. On another note, I'm not saying that I'm 100% with even me putting my hands on them, but sometimes that little girl is just off the hook. Some things are just inexcusable, and I feel like deserve a popping or whatever the case is. I go in, okay? Only on the big one, because she is as stocky as me, and she goes all into things. She has my attitude, but sometimes she doesn't think like I do. She thinks I say on her other side, she thinks like that. And that just infuriates me to a point of no return. So I try a lot, and John can attest to this. And even before I met John, there were so many different methods of madness that I try with Soraya. And it seems like some work, some don't, but it's kind of like I need to perfect that craft type of thing. So it's a learning process, but under no circumstances for me, I would feel like I would ever allow, if I wasn't with John, any man, like even her father, I wouldn't allow. I don't like that. I just don't feel like, that is the man's place. And I really don't feel like I would want my kids to look at a man and say, okay, it's okay because my father beat me. You know what I mean? So like, I don't want that ever to be something that they consciously or subconsciously are thinking as they grow older. I know I had personal experiences with, I grew up with my father, and my father married who I consider now my mother, considered my mother, but she's my stepmother, and she was with us. She was with me, I want to say when I was 5 or 6. So almost around the same time I met John, in Soraya's age. So I think me personally, I feel like I'm against the step-parent hitting, because I guess years of us being together, whatever conversation went down between my mom and my dad, there was the green light for her to discipline me and her to hit on me. And growing up, I always felt like that was not cool, because I felt a certain way within that household to where, I don't know, I just felt like there was just not that connection between the two of us. Like, as a child, she don't like me, this is why she's doing this. So I don't feel like that really, as a kid, I didn't really look at it as I'm trying to be taught a lesson. As an adult, I understand. But as a child, it was still rebel. So as soon as I turned 17 and graduated from high school, I was out of there. It made me who I am today as far as being able to be independent. It helped me to, get out there and just, hit the ground running. But that experience alone kind of shaped my thought process on, I'm going to be okay with marrying into a family, but under no circumstances can this other party, hit my children if I should have a boy, because I don't feel like that they're going to learn anything. They're going to look at it as, you just don't like me, or, I can't stand you, or whatever the case is. So that might be one of the things that if you are a parent and you have a stepchild, or if you are married you came with your kid into another thing, that should be something that y'all discuss, and something that you guys agree on. I personally, just my personal feelings, I don't feel like by any means necessary, the step-parent should ever resort to physical, even with kids. I mean, like, I still don't totally agree with it. Like, I don't hit kids with belts and all that other extra shit. I don't do none of that. To me, a lot of that feel like slavery days, and I don't want to be whipping on my kids on anything. So if anything, I'm gonna hand, and it's usually here, I tear Soraya arms up, okay? And then sometimes more, whatever. I scream to the top of my lungs, and for whatever reason, I guess that's I don't know if it's my defense mechanism or whatever the case is, but when I come down from off of that anger high, I just feel horrible. I feel just terrible. And then I just have to still console with my daughter and still completely explain to her what the hell's going on. And 9 times out of 10, it ain't nothing new. I ask the oldest one, I ask her every time, what did I say? And every single time she can tell me exactly what I said word for word. Every single time. So I'm like, okay, so why did you do it? And she gives that blank stare. And then the shoulder comes up. So as an adult, you're looking at her like, so you did it because you wanted to. And you're basically saying you don't give 2 craps about what I just said. Or did you forget? Or do you, like you have to forget because you already know the consequences. You already know your mother is a psychopath to the fullest. And I'm very unpredictable. I might talk to you. I might not. I might swing off on you. I might not. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to explain it to you for sure after the fact. And I don't know if I'm doing a disservice to her or not. But I always come and I hug and I kiss her and I tell her I love her. After everything's calm, I love you. I don't ever want you to feel like I don't love you. I go off because this, that, and other can happen if you don't go by rules. Everywhere you go, there's going to be some rules. So one of the stories I do want to just touch on is the one that we actually just experienced, and that was with Soraya, I guess, text messaging me because whatever the hell was going on
with Pootie, the iPad?
Yes, when the little kid cut
This was yesterday.
This wasn't yesterday?
This was yesterday, as early as yesterday. I'm in the, we just got some work done in the kitchen. After the kitchen is done, as always, I'm washing the dishes. That's a whole nother topic. So I'm washing the dishes because the water got turned back on after they put the plumbing in. I hear the youngest one upstairs crying. So I turn everything off and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to sit down and count to see how long before someone tells me why they're crying, why she's crying. I get to about 70, 75 seconds or whatever. I say, Pootie, why are you crying? She comes to the top of the steps and she starts to tell me about her elbow, and Soraya comes after, and I say, no, too late. If you ain't tell me by now, just let her tell me. So she's bleeding. Clearly see her elbow's bleeding. What happened? I fell off a sissy and cut my elbow on the iPad. Okay, how did you get up on Sissy? Did she pick you up or did you get up there yourself? Oh, I got up there myself. Okay, so come on down. Let me fix your elbow up. I turn to them and say, you know what y'all did wrong? No one told me nothing. Y'all waited for me to call you, to tell you, to ask you guys what the heck happened. I told y'all to stop getting up, sitting on people's laps and all that other mess. You're falling off all the time. I say either stop picking her up or you stop climbing on top of her. I tell you all the time, once again, you did it. Now look at you. Your elbow is open. You bleeding. Boom. Get her downstairs, peroxide it up, put the patch on it, go back upstairs. I'll go back to doing what I'm doing.
Now, I'm on my way home, but nobody knows it. I was at work, and nothing bothers me more than me driving and my text message is blowing up. And I can see who it comes from. I can see it through, my watch. So it comes through and says Soraya. Soraya has this long thing about Janai cut herself. So the first thing I'm thinking is, why in the hell are you texting me if there's an adult in the house? So this being an ongoing thing, But Soraya, I have to continually tell her to stay in the child's place and stop pretending like she is the adult over Janai. She is the big sister, but she likes to pretend, and not just with Janai, with everyone else, that she is the mom of the house and she is the mom of the situation. So it was one time in the park, she tried to do a backflip or make Janai do a backflip over her knee. She don't have backflip experience. She don't have no type of experience in holding Janai or anything else, because we tell her don't pick her up. She's dropped her before. She tries to get her to do a backflip and she drops her on her damn head. And we're across the street watching this. So we're looking at her like, what the hell? Instead of Janai's crying, instead of picking her up and bringing her towards us, she thought we wasn't looking, so she walks away with Janai. So I had to holler across the street and say, bring her here. You don't have the slightest idea of what you're doing. That child could have just gotten a concussion, and you would have pretended like everything was all peasy greasy at the end of the day, and she could have passed away in her sleep because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You're not an adult. So the same situation happened with this. Janai's cut, and instead of her going straight to the adult, like this is like 100th time. No, that's not a real number, but that's literally how many times I got to talk to this little girl about the same exact thing. I always tell her, just go straight to adult. Why wouldn't you go to the adult? Oh, because I was scared. Scared of what? Oh, because I thought I was going to get in trouble. Get in trouble for what? Now, this is the short version of it, because it took me about an hour and a half of me screaming at her, an hour and a half of me standing in her face and asking her 700 different questions, phrasing it to where the simplest answer would be yes or no, and still had to like pull teeth to get her to say anything, which another whole nother story. So this was something that had been going on with telling Soraya, don't try to be the adult, just allow whoever is in charge, which obviously, if John's in the house, he's the one in charge. Obviously, when I'm there, y'all run to me first, or whoever you can find. They don't even make the conscious decision to say whoever they can find first. They'll be downstairs with you, and they'll walk all the way upstairs with me, and vice versa.
And vice versa.
So, I don't even know if this long story is able to be short anymore, but this is something that I've discussed with this little girl hundreds of times. She's still just... Why are you texting me, Soraya? Oh, I had already told John. Okay, so why are you texting me? Oh, because I thought I was going to get in trouble. So she texted me about 7 times in a row to say something that already happened. And then a long paragraph of what her side of the story was, instead of just saying it to John. So I asked her, I'm like, well, if you have an issue with just being able to talk to him, just say that. Like, we need to have a conversation. So we need to sit down together. So I feel like maybe that could be an issue with not only just our family, but with other families. Because I know as a child, I had an issue with, I didn't feel comfortable talking to my stepmom about anything, because I don't feel like that window was ever open. It was always just like this head button thing. So I feel like with Soraya, it's I don't know if it's a head button thing between them two, because it's still the head button thing between she and I too, and that's mainly because
and adults
and all adults that don't know that side of her yet. Yeah. But I just feel like as the adult, we try to be what either we didn't have for our kids or the opposite of what we did have for the kids, and more so when you blend the families together, it's like a whole nother war. It's like a whole nother war within the household. So me and her still have our issues, and then I don't know. So you guys probably have your like the I guess what I can say that she said to me before is that the way that he is with Janai, he's not with her, and the connection that they have, Janai and John have, is not the same connection as John and Soraya is going to have, which for me, I feel like that's not so much, I don't know if I want to say, if it's not a natural thing, if that's the word that I'm looking for, mainly because...
Organic, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's a good answer.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's not organic because of the fact that it's not like she's 3.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
She's a big girl. It's awkward for me to hug her.
Yeah, so she's 3 and she's not 3 or 2 or she's not, because when she was 4, I mean, I would have to take her to school with her on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And we were more, and this is before Pootie was born, we was more, I would say, closer.
Yeah. Because she used to call him daddy.
Yeah, she used to call me daddy. So it would be more closer for her to jump in my arms and for me to carry her, put her on my shoulders. But as she gotten older, I mean, she's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, it kind of strayed away. And because she's a big girl now, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm not emotionally attached to her anymore. That's my daughter. That's my girl. You know what I'm saying? Good, bad, or indifferent. But now that we have Pootie, who's 5, and Pootie is still so little, I'm sure in her mind, she sees the physical. I mean, she might only see me as a disciplinary, like if almost, okay, I do something wrong. Wake up, brush your teeth, wash your face, fix your clothes, pull your pants up, tie your shoes. Did you wash your face? So
wash your dish.
Wash your dish out. You know what I mean?
We still have issues with this dishes thing. If y'all came out the first time, we still have the issues, and that's something that he and I have to talk about, and I have to learn to let go, because even with the dishes for the kid, he's like, she should learn how to wash the dishes, and I'm like, no, I don't want her washing my dishes. Yeah. So we'll get back to that.
We'll get back
I got
to that
issues with dishes. Okay.
So and being keen to things is not like, like I'm stubborn on certain things, but I've spoke to Jai about this in regards to that we spoke about that might be an issue in regards to the discipline between. I might just be seen as the guy who just says all the ways, do this, do that, do this.
Yeah.
And I noticed it to the point where I think a while ago I said, let me start trying to be a little more interactive on some, I mean, like her karate school, I'm going to go there, even the prior karate school, and root her on instead of always seeing me as telling her, get yourself together, listen to your mother, or, things of that nature. The hard part as a male in a situation like this with a blended family with daughters, see, if it was a boy, it might be a little more, we going, come work out with me. Shoot hoops with me, watch sports with me, and things of that nature. But with females, and growing up with 5 sisters also, when it's not my, biological, biological child, I just feel there should be always a line that we don't do, because it could be misinterpreted. I don't never want that type of situation to get misinterpreted, so, and it's almost awkward to a point. I mean, for me, it feels a little awkward, not because I don't love her, but because this is a big grown girl who also has, a father who may, hug her, whatever. I always never wanted to take that from him. You see what I'm saying? It may sound weird to some people, but that's how I always approached it. I felt that a man should always, that affection should always be given to by the father. That's how I always felt. It's just certain things that I felt inside. Even with my own daughter from a previous relationship, I really have no power over it. I feel that should not, there's certain lines that women should not allow non-biological fathers to do. And that's just the way I move with her. I'll tell her, great job. Yo, I seen you do that kick at karate. I see you doing really good. That type of encouragement. But, when it comes to, I don't want to say I'm standoffish in regards to the physical aspect, but she sees Janai jump on me and crawls up in my lap and sneaks in the bedroom in the middle of the night. This is what Janai does. Janai's 5. Janai's used to sleeping with me and her mom's, or I put in her bed and she gonna get up 3 o'clock in the morning and come into the bed. That's what she gonna do. So I think a part of that is the disconnect that we may have when it comes to things of that nature. And plus, I also think it's just the fact that she wants to tell her side and tries to get it out before I get to her mother. Even though the minute something happened, I'm on the text already. Texting her already.
I provide her that anyway, though. I let her, what happened. That's usually, even though I already know what happened, I want to know her side of the story. But I'm gonna get to some of these questions. Cookie Lee, do you do the one-on-one things with her fun stuff?
You mean me?
I'm assuming yes.
I think you're talking about me. Probably in a while we haven't. I can actually say that we especially
he
the
doesn't
way
really do much one-on-one with either one of them because they're little girls and they're like their mom. They like crafts, they like Barbies, they like Legos, they like their iPad. And when they're on their iPad, Janai don't want to do nothing but rub on your ear and watch her iPad. So the one-on-one things was never really his thing. They're usually in one room and he's usually in another.
I mean, the most they'll do is call me in the room to
and
look
ask
at
for something to eat.
Or to look at what they build. They'll do that. You know what I'm saying? They in the house, and if it's us in the house, they're gonna call me in the room. Look what I build. Yep. Look at this. Look at our Legos.
And the restaurant that they did.
They'll do the restaurant thing, and I gotta come in there, and I gotta put my tie on, and I gotta sit down, and they gotta serve me the food. That's their restaurant game. But I understand what you mean, Cookie Lee, as far as
that's something I need
her
to do too.
And I
need to do that one-on-one.
And I believe that's something that can bridge that gap. It has to be done. We have to find something that me and her can do together.
Is that something that you do? Because I know you have a stepdaughter. Is that something that you do? And if that's something that you do you have any suggestions as far as like ideas that they can do? Because honestly, we are boring people. So the mall is probably the highlight of the family life. And now I guess our newest kick is going to Sweet Frog, taking the kids out to Sweet Frogs and just running regular ass errands. So if that's something that you do and you have some suggestions, then that would be awesome. Let's go back to they're too young to realize that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy and they feel like you act different with them, so they act different, which causes you to act different. It's really it's a struggle, and it's really a mind game. Even being the biological parent to both of these little girls, it's really a mind game that, discipline is not always physical. And the majority of the time it's not. It's me repeating myself to, the umpteenth time, or finding different ways in order to help them. I'm always reading, I'm always listening to stuff, I'm always looking into different ways to, reaching out to people and how did you do it with your kids? Because I don't want to go through this all the time. I don't want to be angry all the time, and I don't want her to look at me as the mean mom, even though I do tell her I am the mean mom. So just make sure you remember that before you get ready to do something stupid, because I am the mean mom. But yeah, that's another story. Anyways,
but even today, when that's why I called it downstairs when I was folding the clothes in the laundry. I had called it down there to get the towels. Remember, she brought the towels up, but I had gave her a quick pep talk.
Yeah.
And just explained to her what was required of her, and
she don't have no chores.
No.
I need to get that. Which is what
I'm not a fan of that. Not at all.
It's not on purpose. It's that I like shit done a specific way, and I like it done properly. And I think I'm not mentally here. A lot of the times, I don't want to have to go behind you and double check, triple check, 50-fold check, because she will do the bare minimum of exactly what's required for you. But what I did notice,
bare minimum is better than a norm.
Yeah, I did notice with her, the last time I had her do the bathroom, last week I had her do the bathroom. I just brought her in the bathroom and was like, okay, look at this sink. What do you think could be better about it? And this could be wiped down. Okay, what's right in this corner? What does that look like to you? It looks like it's dirty. It looks like that needs to be wiped up. And we just went section to section to section, and I'm like, all right, cool, handle this. And when she was done, that bathroom looked like I cleaned it. That bathroom was spick and span. So a lot of it is the inconsistency, which is not good for, I'm learning the hard way. It's not good for the children. the inconsistency, and that's something that is a disconnect that I feel like I am causing more harm. Is he'll be like, do the dishes, or clean this, and I'm like,
and it's not even really do dishes.
Don't touch
do
it.
Your
do
dish.
Your dish.
That's it. It's not even.
And
do
my
the dishes.
mental is like, hell no!
Yeah,
don't waste my soap
Yeah.
for that one ass dish.
Yeah,
Wait
no.
until the whole entire sink is filled up. So I can see where the kids are getting some type of or confusion as far as Soraya is concerned, because he'll say one thing and then I'll say something else. So that's something that needs to be discussed when you blend families. And fortunately for us, we started this and we can start learning from that. I need to learn a lot more, because this is some crazy shit, y'all. Some crazy shit. So let's go back. Cookie Lee, why they think they gotta wash the dishes and not clean the counter? You know what? They are only going to do. I feel like a lot of people, the kids are going to do literally what you said. If you said wash the dishes,
that's
Cookie,
all they gonna do.
That's the only goddamn thing she said she's got in her mind. I'm gonna wash these dishes and I'm gonna get the hell up out of here. Okay, so that the dishes. Washing the dishes or explaining to her to do the dishes or whatever the case is, you might want to rethink what you say about them, because kids are seriously literal, like for real literal. Like they don't pick up on any of the subtle hints. They don't pick up on any damn thing. I listened to John get this long ass explanation to Soraya, and everything makes sense to me as an adult, but I'm like, she didn't hear not a damn thing that you just said. You trying to play some old mind game with her that she's not equipped to understand. She was just like, I don't know what this man just said, and just went in there and tried to go take a shower. I knew what he was getting to.
She did,
and then you like, she didn't hear your word. I said,
that's
she heard you.
I
She didn't understand a damn
yeah.
thing that you just said. So, Monique, I agree. Everyone knows I had my stepson legally since he was 5, but been with his dad since he was 2. He's gotten out of hand and on me a few times, and my peers would say, why didn't you hit him? Hold up. Shit, girl. On that one, at 5? No, you had said he had him since he was 5.
Oh, yeah.
So he's gotten out of hand on you as far as like switching up on you and,
that's her,
getting real ignorant on you as a kid.
Why didn't you hit him?
I don't know. I can't go
see the rest of that?
No. I don't know. I know I always say, I don't think I've ever hit anybody else's kids before, but I've threatened the hell out of them before. I threatened my friends' kids. Listen, y'all little asses, no. I don't even like when my friends' kids act up in front of me to their parents. So that's, I think when you're in a relationship, I would never, as a friend, as a real friend, I would never suggest that you hit the kid. By all means, if he's trying to swing on you, I would definitely, there's nothing wrong with holding him. There's nothing wrong with holding him down and then having the conversation with his father, as far as that. I feel like that's a conversation that the two of y'all have to have, and then also it's a conversation that your boyfriend, husband, whatever, needs to have with the child in front of you. And you guys as the parents need to come to an agreement on where if this type of behavior ever happens again, where the discipline would occur. For the boys, I don't know, maybe this is a biased thing, but for the boys, I don't know about the boys. I don't feel like a woman, you're going to hurt him. You're going to be able to hurt him, but vice versa for a man to hit on a little girl, no. So I don't think disciplining him in a physical way is really going to help him. But I definitely think that there's a conversation that needs to be had between you and the other parent, and the conversation also needs to be had between the three of you guys, so you guys come to an agreement as the parents on what to do.
And if the other parent is involved, they should be involved also.
And having that
a lot of times, these other parents, and usually, unfortunately, it's either going to be a bitter woman or angry dude. They're not going to want to have that conversation. But everyone, I'm talking about all 3 or 4 parents or whatever, all 3 parents should sit down in front of the children to let them know how this is going to go down. If you are wrong, then you're going to be disciplined in some shape, form, or fashion. You can run and call daddy and tell daddy, I'm on punishment because such and such and such. But if it's already established between the three adults that you can have some form of discipline from the non-biological parent, it cuts off a child's options of always thinking that they can put one against the other.
And they'll try it.
And they're going to try it.
They're going to try that even if both of your parents are biological. Like, the kids is going to try you no matter what. I just feel like it's in their nature. I feel like it's in our nature to do whatever our instincts tell us to do, regardless of, what the rules, consequences, or anything. Rules and consequences are not something that come natural to a child. You learn that through your parent. You learn that through, whatever the issues or whatever the discipline or whatever. Hate that word because it sounds like it's physical, and it's not.
Discipline. Yeah, discipline always sounds like it's physical because more than likely, especially in like black families, discipline always mean getting your butt beat. And I am a firm believer. I got my butt beat. I mean, I got beat down by my mother. I am not a firm believer that all these children need today is an ASS whipping. Because let me tell you something about getting hit. Each time you get hit, it makes your skin a lot tougher. And you're able to handle it the next time and the next time. To the point where either the parent has to hit even harder. You know what I'm saying? To the point where you really going to hurt these kids. Or the child becomes so shell-shocked from the beating, you understand what I'm saying? It's not
rebel anyway.
That they're going to rebel anyway and try to get away from. Because the more you hit a person and corner a person, eventually the person is going to fight back in some shape, form, or fashion. I'm not saying that, when you have a little child and the child touch something they're not supposed to, and you pop the hand and let them know, or you may pop the butt. But when it comes to a certain point where you having to use weapons and you picking up and slamming children, and that's not discipline. I mean, it's not all of us, but a lot of us dealt with this type of discipline growing up. And especially makes it worse when you discipline a child physically and there is no speaking behind it after the fact. So now you know what I'm saying? This child grows up to be like, I hate you. Because if Jai was beating on me, I'm going to get away or I'm going to fight back. Those are the two things that's going to happen. So we grew up in a time where that's all we was taught. Beat the child. You know what I'm saying? And they ran and took the Bible verse and said, spare the rod, spoil the child. But where the part comes in, that you have to educate the child why, instead of just saying because I said so. So all of this plays a part in blended families. Communication is key, and being on the same level for the best for the child, as well as the two people or the three adults that's involved, or extended 5, it could be 7 adults because of aunts and uncles and grandparents that's involved in the disciplining of a child. That communication has to be. Another problem, I think, that we don't talk about these things before we get into serious relationships with the people that we're with.
Especially when there's children that exist already.
Yes, we wait till after we're into the situation.
Yeah.
And sometimes we still don't talk about it, And so now
it's hard.
A discourse comes between the two people of how to deal with this child that one of the adults might not be biologically related to. It's no different than having a child, period. These are things that we should be talking about as adults instead of letting them become reactionary to a situation when it arises. But adults get so caught up in their own thing that everything else becomes secondary, especially with children involved. And I believe that is what should be done when we have these blended families, especially with children. And in my case, a female child, because it's a very delicate situation when it comes to being in a house with a female child that's not biologically yours. And the different things that I have to deal with. I mean, now she's on a menstrual cycle. I'm like, Jesus Christ, oh gosh, now I got to deal with that. You understand what I'm saying? So all of these things play a part. Like I said before, I'm a firm believer in not putting your hands on female children, period. I'm pretty sure if she was a boy, I would not be above, go get the boxing gloves, you know what I mean? I'm not going to hurt you or whatever. I wouldn't be above that. And if it was my son, I mean, my son is 23 years old, but, if he lived with us at any point in time and I walked in the house and, I'm pretty sure Jai would probably try to put paws on him, but, you know what I mean? But if he ever disrespected anyone in my home, there is no, that's my son, you can't say whatever to him. I'm like, hell no. I probably would have been on my way home talking to her. Well, what hospital do I need to go pick him up at? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because, that's just something not tolerated. I understand.
Yeah, and, you got to pull rank. If I'm in this house, then it is what I say. And until your parent gets home, it is what I say.
Yeah.
Because it's just no different than... it is parenting, but it's no different than being left with a babysitter.
Or a teacher, that's right.
Or a teacher. You have to do whatever you're told there, because as your parent, I'm not going to leave you with anyone that I don't feel comfortable with you being in their care. Meaning I'm not going to leave you with anyone that's going to harm you. I'm not going to leave you with anyone that is going to physically harm you or do anything to hurt you that I don't agree with. And anything to hurt my child is something that I don't agree with. So if I'm in the household and I say do something, that's what it's going to be. Same thing with John. If John's in the household and I'm at work and he says do something, that's what it's going to be. And regardless if she reacts negatively or reacts as a child or reacts in a way that he doesn't like, it's still going to be what he says. And when we get home, then you have a whole nother set of consequences that you're going to have to deal with. And that is me. And that is when the conversation happens. Well, okay, that's your parent. That is who's here. That's who you are supposed to be listening to. Why didn't this occur? And then, repercussions from that. That's not something I would freak out about or whatever. But long conversations with that happens. And sometimes most of the time my voice escalates. Depends on the day. My voice is very, very loud. So I feel like within the household, there has to be an understanding not only between the two parents, but also with the children. So I feel like if you're going to be blending the families, the children have to understand that we are a united front, and whatever I say is as good as gold with him, and whatever he says is as good as gold with me. So we have to stand united, not so much against them, but for them, and they have to understand that this is a united front. So what one says, the other one's going to carry out. I might not let him know when I said it, but damn sure believe you can go to him and try to sneak behind, which the little one is doing a lot right now. She's doing that a lot. And I hear, and I'm like, nope, I just said no. Mm-hmm. Okay?
And then I say, oh, you heard what your mother said. And that's how it has to be. It has to be like that all the time. There's certain times
when we're not going to take you out.
There's certain times we're not going to agree. Oh, also there's certain times when there's things that was allowed and I didn't know.
Yeah,
that happens. That happens a lot.
Miscommunication on our part.
Miscommunication. So I might be like, you ain't supposed to such and such. But mommy said I could do that. And I'm like, Jai, you said that. Then I have to say, my bad. I didn't know. I didn't know. I thought it was still such and such and such.
Yeah.
I think
we both hard asses, but then we both soften up.
Yeah.
For certain things, and it's kind of like, it's a balance.
Yeah.
We're damn sure not perfect, but we're working this out.
Yeah, I mean,
and we.
she's never. I could say she's never verbally disrespected me.
Who?
Soraya.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
No, Soraya's never verbally, came sideways or anything like that.
She's never come sideways at me either, so. Yeah. She does the subtle shit, and that talking under your breath type thing when you walk away. Like, girl, do you understand? I got the bionic ears. You can't be talking shit walking away. And she likes to do that sometimes. And she'll be walking away and saying like she don't remember something or whatever she mumbling. And then I'm like, huh? She'll stop in the middle of it. Never mind. No, don't you dare never mind me. Don't never mind nothing. Finish your sentence. And you stand in my face if you're going to talk to me. Don't walk away talking. I can't stand that. I can't stand that.
Mom, you know what, but she always playing with fun. She did what she did, and she always let us know that she loved. Yeah, true indeed, Sean. That's what my dad did. My father made me believe that remember the phrase parents used to say, some parents would say, this is going to hurt me more than I hurt you. My father made me believe that was real because my father would spank me and he would cry after the fact.
And see, my dad did that too. I can't remember too many times when my dad was the one that was disciplining me, but he would talk to me first and I used to be like, damn, just get this over with. And then he'll talk to you afterwards. So, and he was never wild with it. He made you go over the damn bed and
that's
that
how my
long,
father was.
thick ass construction belt.
Yeah.
But it never felt like it never felt like it was out of maliciousness.
Yeah.
It never felt like he,
didn't like
hated
you.
me or
didn't like you or hated you. And, that's a terrible feeling for a child to have, to make it feel like, okay, yes, I did something wrong. Yes, I'm going to get my butt bust, but this person don't like me. I think that's
sometimes I feel like Soraya feels like that about me because of my methods of madness. Sometimes where I lose my cool. But then when I do speak to her, when my friends talk to her, she's so forgiving and she's like, no, I understand. I know she loves me and blah 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 blah. So I guess talk to your children too.
Yeah, I think we believe a lot of times we be talking to them, but we actually be talking at them. The whole entire do what I say because I said it type of move. And these are still living beings with minds and thought processes on their own. And, there's some things that, they're going to do that's just, I'm not going for it. I don't care how you feel about it. But then there's other things that you have to actually express yourself to the degree to let them know that this, you are loved, you are cared about. The whole purpose for everything we do is so that when we send you out into this society that is very unforgiving, you know how to act and be an adult to the best of your ability. We don't want you out there with tools that you should have had and you're lacking now that you're out there. They don't understand that because they're children. But hopefully, as they get older, they can see, okay, this is what they were talking about.
Yeah, Soraya's going to have that ringing in the back of her head.
It's going to come in. This is what they meant. This is what they meant.
I talk a lot about that. You're always going to have somebody. Always going to have somebody that you have to listen to. You can be a business owner. You could be the CEO. You still have to listen to.
Even the boss has a boss. The customers is your boss. Everybody has somebody that you have to listen to. So that's how we handle a blended family. It could have been even more crazier if I would have had my other daughter involved in this, because now it's not just me dealing with Soraya's side of the family. It would have been Jai dealing with my daughter's side of the family.
That would have been her trying to deal with me.
That would have been, like I said, it's almost a blessing in disguise, even though I'm lacking from being able to be a part of my daughter's life. And not for lack of trying, but blended families is something that should always be talked about over and over and over, revisited and recertified on things, because things change.
Yes, as they get older.
Emotions, feelings, and you have to speak to your kids because
consulting them too,
and letting them know what's the problem. I mean,
not only that, but getting their feedback and getting their, you want to make sure that they're emotionally stable. Getting their feedback on how do you feel about this and how do you feel about that, and I can't really get too much information from out of Soraya, but I know different tactics in order to allow her to be able to fully express herself, which is writing it down and letting me read it, or she will talk to close friends, and they would be able to be like the buffer between us to make her feel like, you know, her opinion matters, or to make her feel more comfortable to get it out there. So, talking about this before you guys even decide to getting on the same page as far as the discipline and the religion or whatever else, which that's not even something that we're going to go into today, because we're like an hour in.
And I spoke to, you know, I was speaking to a good friend of mine today, and this is also another option. A lot of black people don't like to do it. I know I'm saying black people because I'm black, so that's what I know. But we don't like to have a third party into our business.
Yeah.
We grew up with don't let nothing leave this house type attitudes growing up. We don't play that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who you speak to in regards to what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's nothing foul going on.
There's no secret. If I didn't want it out there, then I wouldn't have let it happen.
Yeah.
It's just simple as that.
Having a mediator, whether it's another counselor or someone who can mediate between everybody to get to the best common solution that's best for the family.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Whoever it is that has all of you guys' best interest in hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't handle come to a better conclusion by yourselves. You know, you're in the picture, and when you're in the picture, it's hard to see everything in the picture. Other people outside can see the trees, the park, the background, and everything.
Yeah.
All you can really see is what's in front of you. So,
and your emotions take over you, and the angry, you know what I mean? So it's hard to really clearly think.
You need that.
So that was really good advice. That should have been something we started with. We just didn't do it ourselves.
Yeah. But once again, thank you guys
that's it for
tuning
tonight.
in. I appreciate it. Once again, all my people in Syracuse, Bar Z, Auto Body, cool people. They
Contact me for information.
Made my door look better than it did when I bought my vehicle.
And we didn't have to go through insurance company.
That's
Thank
right.
the Lord.
Paid out my pocket. These are great people.
Reasonable.
Very good people outside of Auto Body Shop. Very great people. Michelle, Bobby, thank you guys very much.
If you guys have any more questions, of course, you can go ahead and post them. You can shout us out via, Instagram, or I'm under that thread. You're Universal
70D.
Also on Facebook Messenger. You know how to get in contact with us. We're still open to any subjects. We have a long list, but of course we will prioritize them based on the ones that you really want to know about next.
Talk about and how we handle it.
Yeah, we probably won't be so serious. That was pretty deep. But it was necessary in order to get to the next thing, because obviously that was a very big step for us. So again, shout us out on Instagram, on Facebook Messenger if you have any questions, or if you want to hear about anything else from us, or if you want to throw us a t-shirt and let us wear your little t-shirt while we're up here.
Yeah.
Feel free. I love
free advertising. We don't even charge you.
Free. I love it.
If we blow up, blow up though.
Because we're going to.
We're going to blow up. You're going to have to pay like you weigh.
Hope you ain't heavy.
Peace out.
Have a good night, y'all.
Have a good holiday, guys.
Happy 4th of July.
Peace.
Oh, and my birthday's coming up, so I'm going to make sure we do a special.
Oh,
because that's going to be on Sunday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Peace.